what is going on, guys? Figure Trades here, bringing you another weekly stock watch list. Before we get started though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And with that much more being said, let's go ahead and dive into the watch list. So pretty dry earnings week so far. Quarter one is starting to begin again. I know we'll start seeing some of our tech stocks and some of our bank stocks in the next few coming weeks. But usually at the beginning, it starts to be a little dry. Nothing too much going on, nothing exciting. So we're pretty good to go off of that and go into the main thing that everyone is waiting on. So you guys know I like to talk about futures first before anything else. Let's go ahead and go to the 4-hour and the daily for both of these indexes. So first things first on ES here is we clearly have a 4-hour uptrend here on the 4-hour time frame. And with this, obviously we rejected to the top side at around 60.70 where I had a previous resistance, and we came back down testing this double bottom on, looks like after hours on Thursday because of the whole war situation going on, and we actually created a double bottom at 59.30. Along with that, we also have a uptrend that we rejected off multiple times, and when we originally broke it, it was due because of news. But the thing that I'm expecting here is how we're going to react now that there's no catalyst over the weekend, at least as of yet. How are we going to react at this trend line? Are we going to bounce off of it? Are we actually going to break through it just with technicals alone? That's something that everyone should be keeping an eye out for. And then after we break that trend line, obviously the area that I'd be looking to target on ES with the other stocks that I'm trading this week would be at this 59.30 area where we have the double bottom. So after that, I really don't have anything until 58.50, which is the original range that we were stuck in with this. So that's ES. Kind of the same idea here on NQ as well. If we go on the 4-hour or the daily chart, it doesn't really matter. We can see that we're kind of stuck in a range on this as well. We had originally broken out of that 21,800 area, and now we're kind of just stuck back in here. We've hovered around this area already, so it's just a big mess now. So instead, I will be watching between 21,500 on NQ or anything above 22,000. Obviously, we're catered more towards the downside, so I'll be paying closer attention to 21,500. The only other thing to really note on this is if you go on the 1-hour time frame, you can see that we have a trend line here started from, well, it's been forming for around 3 days now, and we can see how many rejections we've had off of it. I believe around 5 or 6. I'm not going to count it right now, but I believe it's around that many. But that is something to keep an eye out for if we decide to climb back up to the upside, if this has any kind of technicals with any of the stocks we're trading, or if we break this trend line, if it could be a straight jump to 22,000. So something else that we should be keeping an eye out for is that. Not too many things on my watch list as of now. I have 3 stocks. First one is going to be Apple. Apple's a pretty straightforward setup. If you go on the daily chart, you can see here that I would be looking at the bottom of the range that we've been stuck in for a while now. I can actually get rid of this trend line, or not this trend line, this level here. I haven't played Apple in a while. You can see that we've been stuck within this 214 and 193 area for a long time now, and we're catered more towards the downside than we are the upside. So that's obviously what I'm going to be focused on more, and main thing that I'd be keeping an eye out for is 193, since that's the area of the consolidation we've been holding above. So 193 target would roughly be 192, 192.50. It just depends how we break and how ahead of the market it is. If it's following the market, those are the kind of things I'm kind of waiting to see on Apple, whenever that does come around. The other one that's kind of all right, but I'm not really too sure on this one, is NVDA. Now, NVDA is stuck within a $5 range as of right now, but the only thing is with NVIDIA is that we've been playing around this 140 to 141 area in the past. But as of recently, at least this previous week and a few days before, the week before that, is you can see that we have been messing around this 141 and 140 area, and we haven't had a solid close below either of those levels in a while now. That doesn't mean that I would be looking at, that this is a main watch that everyone should be keeping an eye out for, maybe something over Apple. But this is something that we should be keeping an eye out for because of the small range it's been stuck in. It's still, both ways are still plausible, either at 145 or at 141/140. The only reason why this is on the main watch is it's NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is a stock that has a lot of follow through and a lot of liquidity. So even if it's a fake out, it's not the end of the world. And again, if this happens to be a week ahead of the market, it could be a really good play. So I think it's just one of those honorable mention ones that we should be keeping an eye out for because it's stuck in a range as well, just like the market is currently in right now. Last but not least is Tesla, and this is the last stock on my watch list. So if we go on the, I believe it's the 1-hour or the 30-minute here, Tesla is a really niche stock. You guys hear me talk about it every now and then, or probably at this point included in my watch list one way or another. Tesla is one of those stocks where it just really depends on how it's moving throughout the day. Recently, there hasn't been really too many pre-market or big trade ideas on Tesla, and if there are, it gets exhausted pretty quickly, meaning the move just gets played out and it exhausts all the levels either below that or above that, right? Just because of how much follow through, how much liquidity, and how much of a breakout Tesla can have. And so in this instance, at least as of the last month, we've been relying on Tesla since it has been playing around the same area for a while now, with a lot of intraday levels. So either pre-market levels or intraday levels, or even intraday setups, even to rely on Tesla with some of the follow-throughs or the plays we've been looking at. Sometimes they play out really well. Sometimes they just have a short move. It just depends, right? A lot of it is reading the market sentiment and how the stock is moving on its own compared to the market. So in this instance, the only area that I'd be keeping an eye out for is at 332.50 for anything above that, for any momentum. With where the market is catered at currently, Tesla is slightly ahead. It's not too weak, but again, this is a stock that really just depends how it's going to be moving pre-market going into market open. So, but yeah. That is about it for the watch list, though, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Before you leave, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And with that much more being said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace out.